Yo, what is going on, everybody? You got your boy, actually Amungus, your coach of the Atlanta Sable, and just when you thought that PWD Season 2 was over, I got a special video for y'all. Now, I'm gonna talk kind of quickly in this video and try to make this quick. But, here I got the breakdown for every team I brought in PWC Season 2. So we're just gonna hop right into this. Right here, first of all, we got week number 1 versus Coach Neway in the New York Knock Towel. Now, Coach Neway's team featured Galarian Darmanitan, Porygon Z, Magnezone. Looking at my notes real quickly, we got Blastoise here, max speed, max special attack. We got the nickname Dai-Gurren, which I stole from the anime Gurren Lagann. I love that anime. Big influence on me. But this is a pretty common spread with a moveset with the coverage for Slowbro and of course Magnezone. But you know, like, this was supposed to be my win con in week 1. When I look at my notes, it says Blastoise at +2 special attack kills everything except for Slowking, Lapras, and certain builds of Rotom Fan at +2, which of course the Shell Smash would enable. So that was supposed to be my win con for the week. Every week that I put my teams in the boxes, I kind of put them in the order of the draft order, just to like simplify reporting matches and things like that. So just because it's the first Pokemon doesn't mean that I'm saving the best for last or anything like that. We also, in this match, we have Gujian, which is a Chinese name, famous sword name. I took it off of Google. I looked it up, wanted to make an interesting name for my sword Pokemon. On this one, we have a more complicated spread. This one was 2-hit KO Magnezone, chance to kill Porygon, guaranteed 2-hit KO on Slowking. Did I say Slowbro earlier? If so, that's my mistake. Lapras, and Wishcash, other teams that he may have had. My exact EV spread on this Pokemon was 252 HP, 172, and of course the nature boost as well, attack, and 84 defense. The moves: King Shield, Iron Head, Close Combat, Shadow Claw. Like I said, I do kind of got to talk about these fast. I don't want this to be an hour-and-a-half long video. Next, we got Tangrowth. The spread's close to normal, but is this the right Tangrowth? I don't know exactly the EV spread on this one because I must have changed it from my showdown notes. I apologize for not checking that ahead of time. But it appears to be, we got just a little bit shaved off the attack and HP to make room for a little bit more of defensive speed. It says in my notes, although I can't assure this anymore because I appear to have made a last minute adjustment in this set, can heal off Air Slash from Rotom with the Assault Vest, helping it out. Does it still have an Assault Vest? Oh no, I switched this to Leftovers. So, I'm going to kind of go on to the next mon because I clearly changed my plan as far as this one's concerned. Hey, but it's still the same week. I was just checking though. Anyway, excuse me for not having the cleanest recording, but we got the Rocky Helmet Miltank next. Nickname Apple Bottom, kind of self-explanatory. Same with the reggae nickname on the Tangrowth, kind of looks like dreadlocks. That's great. This EV spread is 248 and 240 defense. 248 HP, 240 defense with just 20 in attack to shave off just exactly what I need to live the hits I need to. And, you know, any damage, extra damage counts. Next, we got Fukyu Clay Doll. This one is pretty vanilla. 252 defense, 248 HP, the 8 in special attack. Although, as you can see, we aren't using this special attack. I should have put that 8 EV into speed, I guess. But support Clay Doll with Iron Defense, Stealth Rock, Rapid Spin, and Body Press. Then we got, honestly, the big carry for my week 1 matchup was this Machamp, Saitama, you know, shout out to One Punch Man. This is pretty normal spread with 248 in attack, 40 HP, and 220 speed. So yeah, just only getting the, you know, EVs where we need them. Although I will admit, one of the main reasons of recording this video is to show that I do get better at refining this process throughout the season. So week 1, this I believe picked up 3 kills for me. This was, even if it didn't, this Pokemon was instrumental because the damage that it was able to do on the Pokemon when it came out was huge. It was definitely the key to winning my week 1 matchup. Mach Punch, Drain Punch, Throat Chop for the Slow King, Ice Punch for the Hakama-O, the Sandaconda, and a couple other things. So that'll move us on to week 2. In week 2, I played against, oh yeah, this is the team that nobody ever got to see. Thanks for the laugh, Andre. But no doubt, this was when I got 6-0'd by Ryan. This is the team that I brought to try to prepare for Ryan. I had brought a physical Blastoise with expert belt, coverage for Lapras. Well, I don't really have coverage for Lapras, but Brick Break for if it sets up Aurora Veil. Crunch for Runerigus and Indeedee. It's, you know, once again, kind of the same situation, just physical, basic set. The Aegislash in this week, you might notice I didn't nickname my Pokemon in week 2 because I knew my opponent wasn't recording. Maybe I just kind of got lazy on that one. But nonetheless, the Aegislash in my week 2 matchup, where of course I did get swept, it was actually Destiny Bond with, oh, this was Wide Lens? No, it is. I must have took it off the room service last minute because I had thought about the room service tech in my showdown notes as well as on paper. Because he had access to a possible Trick Room team, but that's not the way that he brought it. As a matter of fact, he brought an Agility Drapion, and everybody in PWD knows how that went. They won't let me live it up because I only lost twice the whole season, and one of them was extremely bad. But I did bring things to deal with Ryan's threats. I had the max defense, and that's 252, 248, 8 on this Tangrowth. Max defense. This almost pulled it out, but it got crit by a sniper Pokemon. It almost pulled it out, and by that I do only mean taking out the Drapion. Not acting like I was going to turn that 6-0 around, so don't get me wrong. But I'm going to move on to Salazzle. Man, it's a shame I never got to use this set in the season. Disable, Toxic, Substitute, Flamethrower. Basic EVs and speed and HP because we're not really obviously doing a lot other than support. But against Pokemon with ground type attacks, especially ones that I can outspeed, which is of course a lot of things because it's a Salazzle. I can just substitute on their ground attack, disable their ground attack, toxic them, flamethrower them, whatever I would need to do from that point. So it's a darn shame that I didn't get to use that set. But we all know what happened in week 2 versus Ryan. The Mill Tank for this week, Stealth Rocks and Milk Drink for support, Steel Roller in case he set up terrain with the Indeedee, and Fire Punch because he had Scizor. The EVs on this Pokemon are 252 defense, 252 speed, 4 in attack. So we're still doing pretty basic sets at this point. Maybe I could have been a little bit more creative and maybe turn that one around and not got 6-0'd. But it's too late to ever say now. Shout out to Coach Ryan who had to leave PWD due to personal issues. If he still keeps up with the content, I hope that he's doing well in life right now. He was always a great opponent and a worthy opponent to 6-0 the eventual runner-up of Season 2. Because he was the champion of Season 1. On the Xatu set, we had a Wish Teleport set, which I really wanted to try out, thinking that he may have some slower Pokemon, things, that sort of thing. The Eevee spread, still pretty close to basic, with 232 special defense and 24 HP max speed. So, then, moving on to week 3, this was a great one. This was a very, very interesting week because it actually ended up being the first meeting of the 2 eventual championship teams. I'm trying to pull up my notes on Showdown as well and on paper because once again, that's kind of the point of making this video. I have to kind of talk through it quickly, but kind of showing my process week to week to week is one of the major points. Shout out to Central for where I gen all my Pokemon. If y'all are unknowing of Pokemon Central, it's a great Facebook group as well as really helpful to the community. Admins are pretty cool. But getting into it before we waste too much time, against Carlos, I went a little bit crazy with the nicknames. High Tech Tech, actually the name of a Future song. Also, shouting out to certain beverage, or maybe you would say beverage enhancer, either way. I'm not going to go too much into that when I can explain the EV spread. We have a defensive Blastoise this week, which actually didn't work out. I brought 204 defensive EVs, but didn't calc for the Life Orb, so I needed more. And this Blastoise ended up going down in one hit. But the set was Surf, Mirror Coat, Ice Beam, along with the Shell Smash. The Mirror Coat was for the electric Pokemon that may come out and try to battle me, or may try to check me, as well as could be a Max Mindstorm and set up Psychic Terrain so I couldn't get prioritied if I was, at low health by setting up the Shell Smash. What did work out really well in my week 3 matchup was, of course, my Tangrowth, which got me a really lucky win this week. Lauren Hill, once again, kind of dreads, vines, you get it. This one was crazy because even though it was a regenerator Pokemon, I brought the Sub-Seed strategy on this one, and to my surprise, as well as I'm sure Coach Bloud's, it actually worked out really well. And was able to get off a substitute, which Pinch Urchin could not break, and it started to gain momentum in my favor. EVs on this Pokemon are, excuse the pause, EVs on this Pokemon are 252 HP, 56 special attack, 188 special defense, 12 speed, which I probably should have relocated that. I didn't need that 12 speed for anything. That should have been a special attack or defense, and a bold nature. Just to get a mixed defense, I wanted to be able to make sure that I could check Hawlucha, Decidueye, as well as Lurantis. So there's that. Katy Perry, the white girl. That's my Salazzle for this week. This is the Pokemon that ended up actually finishing off the battle. And I would not have been able to win the battle if it was not for the EV spread on that Pokemon. So, got Nasty Plot, Sludge Wave, Fire Blast, Dragon Pulse. I didn't use Nasty Plot in this game because I ended up Dynamaxing Salazzle and just going for it that way. But the EV spread, which saved my butt, allowing me to live 2 Shadow Sneaks from the Choice Banded, or no, it allowed me to live 2 hits from the Hawlucha and a Shadow Sneak from the Choice Banded Decidueye. I got max speed 252 and a timid nature. I have 72 special attack and 184 defense. So when I lived that final attack at just 14 HP, it wasn't all luck. There was some great prep involved. Obviously, we all know that Bloud ended up being the Season 2 champion. So it definitely took every EV and every bit of preparation that I had in order to win this matchup. The Miltank, it's Whitney. Shout out, as a joke, a ode to Britney Spears song. It actually was not that huge. It ended up dying through the Chople Berry to Cinderace, although it did tank a hit from Raichu. It was max speed, max special defense, Chople Berry, and just threw the little 4 left in attack. Once again, I didn't account for a Life Orb, so I kind of screwed myself over on that one. During this battle, I brought the screens on my Claydol. Once again, going with the nickname Fuku. Rapid Spin, Light Screen, Reflect, and Earth Power. Pretty basic. He had a lot of electric types as well as Cinderace as his G-Max. So Earth Power over one of the Psychic attacks. And then the only appearance that this Pokemon made in my entire draft season, the Glalie, which I ended up trading week 6 for the Sableye, which I actually only brought that once as well. And the one time that I brought it was also against Bloud. But hopefully we'll get to that here in a minute. This EV spread was another interesting one and another unique one. We got 248 HP, 244 defense plus nature, and just 16 speed. Now, unlike other times when I've just thrown minuscule shavings of EVs into a certain stat, this one was completely intentional. This was to put my speed at level 100 it's going to be 200, but it would be a 100 at level 50, and that allowed me to know what my speed was compared to his Pokemon when I had different boosts, because of the ability Moody. One stat goes up 2 stages and 1 stat goes down 1 stage each turn. And in the ups and downs of that, if this were to sit out there and protect a couple turns and that kind of thing, I wanted to be able to always know if I had the speed advantage. So I put it at 200, a nice even number, so that I could basically have that knowledge at any point in the matchup. Glalie, it ended up picking up a kill. It did a little bit of work. It was not bad, but I didn't really have any use for it after this. I didn't really plan to have use for it after this. So, I don't know what else to say. That was the one and only time that I used Glalie and how I used it. Moving on, we got my week 4 matchup against Peekaboo and the Manchester Mimikyu. Now, this is one of my favorite teams I played the whole season. They may have had a little bit of a rough season, but great personality and content. For this one, I brought the max attack, max HP, Blastoise, This time with the choice band, Aqua Jet and Flip Turn as water stabs, and then Crunch to cover against Mimikyu, Bronzong, and Meowstic. Rapid Spin, of course, in case I needed a speed boost or to get rid of hazards. Oh, the nickname went back to Digurin this week. Shout out to Gurren Lagann. And then we got Dreads, the Tangrowth, rocking the Leech Seed, 3 attacks with 192 adamant. So 192 plus in attack, 64 special defense, and 252 speed. He had some Pokemon that he had multiple Pokemon that were also base 50 speed, so that was my thinking on that. I wanted to take advantage of that, or at least not get outsped. Man, I wish I remember where I got this nickname from. I apologize that I don't know, because it was something creative that I came up with. But I ended up changing it and not using it moving forward, so I kind of don't remember. Either way, this was a taunt Salazzle because it was one of the fastest things in the matchup. Toxic, obvious, you know, even against Bronzong, one of the best checks against it is still able to spread Toxic. So even if I had to go up against a heat-proof Bronzong, I would have still been able to put some work in against that Pokemon. The EV spread, simple, 252, 252, 4, timid. And then, yeah, moving on, we got Tassels, a funny name that I've given my Miltank, hoping to maybe get a response out of Peekaboo. EV spread's pretty basic, although it's only 232 attack, 24 defense, with Stealth Rock, Milk Drink, Iron Head, Body Slam. Personally, Body Slam is kind of like a pet move. I really do like it, run it for the chance of paralyze, but I'm also running a Scrappy Miltank for the Mimikyu or the Shedinja in this matchup. He did have 2 prominent ghost types, so I wanted to bring the Scrappy ability. And then finally, in this matchup, we have Fukyu once again, the Clay Doll, basic EV spread with 252 HP and 252 special defense, 4 in special attack. This set was made to stop any attempts at Trick Room that he may have, went for. It has Imprison to lock the Trick Room out. It has Trick Room, of course, to make Imprison work, excuse me. Or to reset the dimensions if I needed to. And then it also has Stealth Rock and Earth Power. We were able to win this one pretty decisively, 3-0 against Peekaboo. So I guess you could say that the prep worked out pretty well. In week 5, which honestly, seeing how long this video is running, I will probably cut it to just a box worth of teams in each video. My apologies. The one time before I traded it away that I brought Togedemaru, let me give it its props. I brought the Togedemaru with the Assault Vest, of course. Let me find the EV spray real quick, I'm sorry. But, you know. I'd rather be accurate. Alright, so yeah. On this EV spread, it's 204 attack, 52 special defense, and 252 speed. So, you know, we're shaving off what we can just to get the just a little bit extra on the special defense in case we need to soak up hits. I don't believe that this Pokemon was a factor in the battle. I don't know if I even used it in the battle, like if it actually hit the battlefield, but I did bring it one time while it was on my team with Ironhead Nuzzle, Grass Knot because he had Gastrodon, and U-Turn, of course, for momentum. So then we'll move on to my week 6 matchup against James in the Tokyo Toxapex. Now you may notice me go back on the fact that I didn't see this team start with Blastoise. This was the 1 week of the entire season that I did not bring Blastoise. And the reason why I didn't is because I prepped a whole lot with Coach James of the Tokyo Toxapex, especially at the time that this match happened. We have been prepping a ton. Him, myself, and Shining Shuriken of the Fargo Phalanx were kind of like a little buddy group in the afternoons, prepping for various matches on either of our schedules. And because I figured that James knew my sets and setups so well, I decided to just not bring the Blastoise at all to totally throw him off. So we got Aegislash leading the team in this particular week, although I don't believe Aegislash was a factor because this was the week that I made up for the 6-0 against Coach Ryan by getting a 6-0 of my own against Coach James. But nonetheless, we have the Swords Dance, King Shield, Shadow Sneak, Sacred Sword Aegislash with 248 HP, 252 plus attack, and the 8 thrown in special defense. Salazzle was the Pokemon that did all the work this week. Salazzle took it over and ended up picking up the 6-0 from me. Nasty Plot, Flamethrower, Dragon Pulse, Sludge Wave, and the 252 4 spread, Timid Nature. Pretty self-explanatory and pretty effective against Coach James's team, which did consist of quite a few things that I could take advantage of. Duraludon, Haxorus with the Dragon Pulse, Whimsicott, a lot of things. It obviously ended up working out well for me. Moving on, this was actually the set that I thought would throw James off the most and maybe seal the deal for me if I needed it to. We have Weakness Policy, Claydol with Rock Polish, Earth Power, Store Power, Ice Beam. This set didn't actually get used in the matchup, and so I kind of saved it in my back pocket because I knew I didn't show it to anybody and tried to bring it back out in the finals against Bloud. It worked kind of well, but I kind of sacrificed it, and maybe that wasn't necessary. Shout out to Coach Bloud for the great game. It was a game where many plays in the game could be analyzed and broken down further than what they were. But this was truly the premiere of that Claydol set that I had brought against Coach Bloud in the finals with the Rock Polish and Weakness Policy setting up a whole bunch of boosts for the stored power, and the Earth Power also being able to maybe add some additional boosts if I were to Dynamax. So there's that. It actually didn't pan out. It wasn't the win con, but we picked up the 6-0. So what can I say? It wasn't needed. We brought the Xatu this week against Coach James. It had the Magic Bounce ability, of course, because he had Toxapex, quite a few threatening, like Whimsicott at the time. He ended up losing it, or dropping it, but he had Toxapex, Whimsicott, Duraludon, things that can set up hazards and just in general annoy me. Like Whimsicott maybe not have hazards, but plenty of things that could Magic Bounce back. So I brought it with Roost for recovery, Heat Wave for the Whimsicott Duraludon, U-Turn for anything that I didn't have a favorable matchup against, and Psyshock for stat. The EV spread on this one was 204 defense and 128 special attack with 176 timid in the speed. Moving on, we got the Hitmonchan basic EV spread, Choice Scarf, because the 76 base speed matched up really well against Coach James. So I wanted to make sure that I could use it to the best of my ability. I believe that this was able to outspeed Haxorus. No, it was able to outspeed Duraludon, if I'm not mistaken. I believe Duraludon's base 80 or 85. Either way, I brought Rapid Spin, Fire Punch, Drain Punch, Earthquake. Of course, 4 attacks because it's Scarf. So then we have the premiere of Mawile, which I actually had picked up because I seen the weaknesses in my team after the week 2 sweep and getting 6-0'd. I had to do something to make sure that didn't happen, make sure I didn't have any huge exploitable holes in my teams anymore. So we picked up Mawile. Believe we dropped Bellossom, which we never used and never planned to use because we had Tangrowth. And we picked up Mawile. We didn't have a fairy type. A second steel was great. Intimidate, Rock Setter. This Pokemon honestly ended up being very good for a low tier Pokemon on my team. This spread was 212 HP, 44 adamant attack, so 44 plus attack, and max defense. With the move Stealth Rock, Thunder Punch, Play Rough, and Counter just in case. That's going to put us back at the beginning of the box. But be on the lookout. I'm going to do 2 more of these videos. I just don't want them to be too long. This video just hit 30 minutes, so that's plenty long enough. This was just stage 1 of my improvement through the PWD season. Be on the lookout for the other 2 videos, especially the last one, because I think if you watch all 3 and you keep an eye out for them, you'll see a ton of improvement from the Atlanta Sables and myself throughout the season. But until then, I'll catch y'all next time. It's your coach, Actually Amoongus, and the Atlanta Sable saying peace.